The problem says that each of the 30 bottles in the laboratory contains either 1 liter of solution X or 1 liter of solution Y. Solution X is 10% sodium chloride by volume and solution Y is 20% sodium chloride by volume. If all 30 bottles were to be mixed, the resulting solution would be 18% sodium chloride by volume. Now up to this point I can see that 18% is very close to 20%. So if you add all the bottles, what it's telling you is that most of them, nearly all of them, are going to be solution Y bottles. Okay. Then it says, but the laboratory is required to produce a mixture that is 14% sodium chloride by volume. Now, if the number of bottles of solution X and solution Y are the same, then the concentration of sodium chloride in the mixture would be exactly the middle, would be 15%. And they require you that it be 14%. Therefore, you need that the bottles of solution X be more than the bottles of solution Y, because you want the concentration to go more towards 10 than towards 20. Okay. Now the question is, how many of the bottles that contain solution Y must not be added to the mixture in order to meet the requirement? Now I'm going to start with the 18% in order to know how many bottles of solution Y exist, because they already exist. They're just going to be added. Okay. So I'm going to do this with a proportion. The easiest way is with the line. I'm going to say X is concentration 10, Y is going to be concentration 20. Since the concentration in the average is going to be 18, I'm going to find a proportion with the distances. The number of bottles of X is going to be proportional to 2. And of Y, it's going to be proportional to 8, which is going to be 1/4. Now, since the sum of all the bottles, which is 5K, is going to be 30, then K would have to be 6. Therefore, the number of X bottles would be 6, and the number of Y bottles would be 4 times 6, that is 24. Now, the number of bottles X don't change. Okay? They don't change at all. You just want to not add the bottled Y. Now, in order for the mixture to be 14%, you need that the bottles Y be less than 6. They cannot be 6 because that would give you 15% of concentration, right in the middle of 10 and 20. But since it's 14, you want it to be more towards X. Okay. So if Y is going to be less than 6, now how many must not be added? Okay. You can look at the answer choices. It's definitely not going to be 4, not going to be 6, not going to be 10. If I don't add 20, I'm going to have Y equals 4. And that gives me a little bit less than 15. I'm not sure it's going to be 14, but hey, the other option is 24. That means that I don't add any Y at all. Now, if I don't add any Y at all, then the concentration is going to be exactly 10%. It's not what we want. So the only answer based on the answer choices is 20. That would be the answer. Now, if you want to operate it, and you want to do algebra, you want to not look at the answer choices, that's going to be a little bit more complicated, okay? Because your variable is going to be, let's just call it B for bottles of Y not added, okay? So you want the same number of bottles, X, 6 times 10% plus 24 minus B times 20% divided by the sum of 6 and 24 minus B, which is 30 minus B. And you want that to be 14%. Okay. I'm going to eliminate the 100s. I'm going to multiply 60 plus 24 minus b by 20 is going to be 14 times 30 minus b. I can simplify it to 7, 10, 30. That's about as much as I can do. 30 plus 240 minus 10b is going to be 210 minus 7b. Okay, minus 10b come add. That would give me 3b. 210 come subtract. This would be 270 minus 210. That would give me 60. 60 is 3b, so b would be 20. Okay, we got the same answer, that is using algebra. Now, using the answer choices, you can always bet that they're going to be friendly, and they're also a resource that you must use, because in the exam you don't want to do too much algebra. You can always rely on the answer choices, especially when it's problem solving. Okay? There can only be one answer. Sometimes the other answers are extremes, like 4 and 6. It's definitely not going to lower the concentration below 15%. So there you have it. Answer is D.